My next guest is going to be back in action. Cage Titan 70, March 22nd, going to be taking on Jean-Patrick. It is Joe Poirier joining me here on the program. Joe, how you doing, man?
How's it going, man? It's a pleasure.
Hey, pleasure's all mine, man. Really excited for this fight. Good tilt here. When did you find out? It looked like you got a decent amount of notice.
Yeah, I found out a few months ago when we were out in Vegas for my training partner Connor Matthews fight
Oh, nice.
with
Okay.
the UFC. So yeah, I found out when we were out there. We went through a couple different guys that we had talks with, and then they were trying to change the weight and move stuff around, and eventually we landed on Gene Patrick. So here we are.
Yeah, it all worked out. I imagine you wanted to fight sooner than this because I saw your last fight was in July.
Yeah, these long layoffs are no good. My first year when I went pro, I had 5 fights in my first year, and that's how I like to do it. Like to keep busy. As long as I'm healthy and the body's ready to go, I like to rattle these things off and stay busy.
And obviously, Jean's coming all the way over from Brazil. Did you know much about him before taking this fight, or was he one of those guys you had to look up?
No, I heard about his name when it got offered to me.
Okay.
I didn't know much before that, but I know he's been around the game for a while. Had a few Muay Thai fights before he got into MMA, so he likes to strike and stand. And yeah, it should be an exciting one.
Obviously, you train at one of the best gyms in the world over there at the New England Cartel with the Tony Soprano of the group, Tyson Chartier. How's camp going? Who've been some of the main training partners helping you get ready for this one?
Yeah, I mean, camp's been great, and we've had no problems. I got to thank my coaches and my training partners. They really helped me out. We got like you said, Tyson up there at Cartel, and I got my jujitsu coach Mike Bromberg, who's been working with me a lot, and one of my main coaches, Peter Luciani. He handles a lot of the striking and technical aspect and game planning for the fight. So those coaches, and then obviously all the bodies up at Cartel. We got guys like Andrew Valdina, Connor, who I mentioned earlier. Mitch Raposo has been a big help. He's been getting ready for his UFC fight,
Okay.
UFC 314, I think it is,
Yeah,
in
big card in
Miami.
Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've both been getting ready, and kind of stylistically, we just match up well for this training camp because he's fighting a long, lanky striker. I'm fighting kind of a shorter guy that likes to throw bombs. So yeah, it just kind of worked out where we got a lot of work in, and yeah, it's been a great training camp.
How about the weight cut? We got some time, obviously, a week this Saturday, but how's all that going ahead of the fight?
Yeah, I mean, weight cut, I always handle like a professional, make sure everything's dialed in. I've never missed weight in my life, so it's at 130 catch weight, which is a little easier on the body.
Yeah.
So I don't see any problems.
I imagine Tyson will be in your corner. Who's going to be in the cage with you?
Yeah, same as usual. We got Tyson Chartier, Mike Bromberg, and Pete Luciani all gonna be there.
There we go. Sounds good. And how's this fight playing out? How do you see it unfolding on March 22nd?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he comes from a striking background, Muay Thai. Um, he likes to strike. I don't see him wanting to strike much too long after the first couple exchanges because when guys feel my power, they usually turn into wrestlers anyways. So we're game planning for everything. But yeah, I see him getting hurt on the feet and either going out or starting to panic shoot and turning it into a grappling match and finishing it from there.
Is this a Dana White Contender Series audition, this fight? Do you look at it, or potentially a UFC audition too? Just because, again, lot on the line here, especially with your record.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at any time now it could be that call up to either the Contender Series or a short notice UFC fight. So I'm treating every fight like it's that from here on out. You see guys around my record getting the call up, so it's definitely something in the back of my mind.
I imagine Tyson's had talks with the UFC about that because I know they like to check in on guys on the regional scene in case of situations like you mentioned there, short notice or anything along those lines. Has there been some dialogue at all?
We actually just went through the Ultimate Fighter process and
Oh,
doing
gotcha.
all that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been in talks with them.
You're on their
Yeah, it's
radar. That's the
definitely
good thing, right? So, yeah.
yeah, it's definitely something on the horizon.
Okay, that makes sense. Gotta ask, just because of the last name, and I was actually talking about this before he hopped on. No relation to Dustin Poirier, just to clear this up.
No, except we can both fight. That's about it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Didn't detect any Louisiana accent or anything like that in there. So kind of a bit
No,
of the
no.
opposite. And gotta ask us, man. Obviously, you come from a great sports town. You fan of any other sports, or is it strictly fighting?
I mean, I grew up doing football and basketball, so of course I like to rep the Pats and the Celtics and the Bruins and stuff. But ever since I started training and started fighting, it's really been the main focus in my life, and everything else has just kind of lost its kind of lust.
Yeah.
It
Well,
it
it's hard to
isn't
keep
as
up with fighting
exciting.
too. Yeah. I mean, there's so many fights
Yeah,
going on right now,
yeah.
right? So that's understandable. Okay. So I got to ask this because I'm Canadian. Obviously, hockey's huge here. You did reveal, you follow a little bit of hockey. What's the temperature like with the Bruins with them trading Brad Marchand? Because it was a big deal over here. Is that something that was even on your radar? Did you know he's on the Florida Panthers now?
Like I said, I haven't been following other sports too much. Of course, I've heard about it. I
Yeah.
see a lot of posts online on social media and stuff. It's definitely causing an uproar
Mhm.
around this area, but yeah, I haven't really paid it any mind.
No worries. I like the honesty. This is going to be a great fight. It's coming up here March 22nd, Cage Titan 70. If you can't make it in person, definitely check it out. Spectationsports.com has you covered. Joe, appreciate the time, man. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I mean, follow me on social media. My Instagram is just my name as it's spelled, Joe Poirier. And shout out to all the sponsors. We got a bunch of them out here that are helping these local fighters, and we really couldn't do it without them. So shout out to I got my man Evan Williams over in New York. He's been following me since I was an amateur, and I won the title out there. My guy Mike Miller, he's a big help. Cole Cuts, good barber out in Plymouth, Massachusetts, if you ever need a haircut. Um, we got my guy Turkey TV, who does a lot of filming for me and catches a lot of stuff, gets my footage. And we got BC Crane. If you need any crane work done, hit them up. Their numbers on my social media. And yeah, thanks to you for having me on.